A question that I very frequently come across is about the difference between Reiki and quantum healing. While Reiki has been known to people for a very long time, quantum healing is relatively new. And so many people have doubts about what exactly is quantum healing and how it is different from Reiki. So in this video, I will try to explain the differences between Reiki and quantum healing and how these differences matter in terms of the results of these modalities and the way in which these are used. So let me just give you a little background. I got introduced to Reiki in the year 1995. So that was more than about 27, 28 years ago. And I got introduced to quantum healing in 2016. So that's about 8 years of working with quantum healing. And in this duration, I have realized the major differences between these two modalities. And that's what I'm going to try to explain. The first difference between these two modalities is the level at which these two work. You see, Reiki works at a waveform level, whereas quantum healing goes much deeper than the waveform level to a state of nothingness. Now, let me explain that. You see, whenever we have to do any healing, we have to essentially go to at least one level deeper below the level at which the problem is observed. So if the problem is a physical problem which we observe in our body, then we need to at least go one level deeper to an organ level. And that is where a surgeon would work or a physiotherapist would work. If we want to go even deeper further, we need to go from an organ level down to a cellular level. And that is where naturopathy, nutrition therapy, or Ayurveda would work. If we have to go further deeper for even better healing, then we go below the cell to an atom level. And that is where allopathy, chemotherapy, steroids, all of those things work at that level. You want further better healing, go one level deeper than that. From an atom level, we go down to a subatomic particle level, and that's where homeopathy works. If you want even better healing, then you need to go below the subatomic particle or below the nanoparticle, and that is the level of waves. And the therapies that work at a level of waves are radiation therapy, color therapy, light therapy, sound therapy, mantra therapy, and Reiki as well. Reiki works at a waveform level. Whereas, if you want to go further deeper below the wave for even better and faster healing, then below the wave, there is nothing. You need to go to the state of nothingness. A wave gets generated from stillness. Quantum healing works at this state of nothingness. So the first difference between Reiki and quantum healing is that Reiki works at a waveform level, whereas quantum healing works at a level of nothingness. This is called as the state of the 0 point or the state of stillness or nothingness. Okay. Now coming to the second difference between Reiki and quantum healing, because Reiki works at a waveform level, Reiki needs attunement. So anybody who wants to learn Reiki needs to go through a process where attunement is done, and only then one can use Reiki effectively. Whereas with quantum healing, because it doesn't work at a waveform level, there is no need for any attunement. One can directly learn quantum healing and start using it immediately without the need for any kind of attunement. Now, coming to the third difference between Reiki and quantum healing, in Reiki, the healer is sending energy to the person who is being treated, whereas in quantum healing, we are not sending anything. Quantum healing instead uses the method of receiving communication from the ailing body, thereby reaching the 0 point state and triggering a powerful healing response in the body. Okay, so with Reiki, the healer is doing the healing by sending energy, whereas in quantum healing, the body which is being treated uses its own intelligence to do the healing process. The fourth difference between Reiki and quantum healing is that in Reiki, symbols are used. So those of you who have learned Reiki would be aware of these symbols and how to use these symbols. Whereas with quantum healing, there is absolutely no need to use any symbols. We simply get into the 0 point state of stillness, connect with the person who is being treated, and the healing process immediately starts. The fifth difference between Reiki and quantum healing is, with Reiki, the healer is doing the healing by sending the energy. The healer does the healing, whereas in quantum healing, the healer does not do the healing at all. The healing is done by the body of the person who is being treated and not by the healer. The healer's job is only to present the quantum field, to present the 0 point state of stillness to the body of the person who is being treated. And the moment this environment of stillness is presented, the person who is being treated, his or her body will immediately start doing the healing using its own intelligence. So this is a very important difference, that in one case, the healer is doing the healing, whereas in the other case, the healer is not doing the healing. The body which is being treated is doing the healing process on its own, using its own intelligence. So this brings us to the sixth difference between Reiki and quantum healing. In Reiki, since the healer is sending energy to the person being treated, the healer is actively involved in the process. There is a transaction happening between the healer and the person being healed, and therefore the negative energy or negative effects of the healing process could impact the healer. Okay. Whereas with quantum healing, since there is no transaction between the healer and the person being healed, the transaction is happening actually between the person being healed and the universe. The healer doesn't come in the picture in terms of the transaction. The healer is just like a catalyst who is presenting the quantum field, whereas the transaction happens between the person being healed and the universe. So any negative effects or any negative energy that is affecting the person being treated simply would go to the universe and not to the healer. Okay, so this brings us to the seventh difference between Reiki and quantum healing. That is, with Reiki, protection is required. So in order to protect the healer, in order to make sure that the healer doesn't get the negative impact of the healing process, clearing up is required, cleaning up is required, protection is required. Okay. Otherwise, there could be a negative impact to the person who is doing the healing. Whereas with quantum healing, because there is no transaction between the healer and the person being healed, okay, there is no protection required at all. Okay. So no protection, no kind of clearing up, cleaning up of negative energy is required at all. So it's a very safe method to use. The eighth difference between Reiki and quantum healing comes from the fact that these two work at two different levels. So because Reiki works at a waveform level, the healing is relatively slower, whereas quantum healing, because it goes much deeper to the state of nothingness, much deeper below the level of Reiki, the healing is very fast. So practically in minutes, people tell me that they start feeling physical changes happening inside their body, vibrations, movement of the body, bones shifting, a lot of things start getting released from the body almost instantly. Practically at times within less than 30 seconds, people are able to experience this. Whereas with Reiki, it takes a little longer. In fact, much longer. People tell me that usually the kind of results that they get with Reiki in about 4 or 5 sessions, the same results they get with quantum healing, sometimes in just 15 minutes or sometimes with just one session. So the depth at which the healing happens is very different. The results are much faster with quantum healing. The results are much more permanent, much deeper with quantum healing. The ninth difference that comes to my mind between Reiki and quantum healing is, with Reiki, there are levels. So there is a level 1 Reiki, level 2, level 3, and so on, where at each level, the healer is able to do certain things. And in order to do things beyond that, you need to upgrade yourself to the level 2 or else to the level 3. And if you want to teach Reiki, then you need to be at the master's level in order to teach Reiki to other people, so that you can do the attunement of others to whom you are teaching Reiki. Whereas in contrast, with quantum healing, there are no levels. So there is nothing like basic, intermediate, and advanced. Everything is just advanced. Once you understand the 0 point field, once you understand the way to reach there and you are able to do that, you can do practically everything and anything. So even if you want to teach quantum healing to somebody, you don't need to essentially go to a different level of learning. You will be in a position to teach quantum healing to anybody quickly. Okay. So this is one very important difference between Reiki and quantum healing. Another difference between Reiki and quantum healing, maybe the 10th difference, is that with Reiki, once you learn Reiki, you have to practice it for a certain number of days. You have to do Reiki for maybe 21 days to your own body, to the chakras, to clean up, to get better attuned. And then you can start using it on other people for it to give effective results. Whereas with quantum healing, as soon as you learn quantum healing, you can start using it immediately. Practice will definitely help, but that's not necessary. You can simply immediately start using quantum healing on your own body, or you can start using it to heal other people, and you'll realize that you start getting results immediately. Another difference that comes to my mind is the fact that with Reiki, you have to upgrade yourself to a certain level in order to use it at a distance. So if you want to use distance Reiki, then you need to upgrade yourself to that level where you can use Reiki from a distance. You need to probably use certain kind of symbols to do that. Whereas with quantum healing, you need not upgrade yourself to use distance healing. Once you learn quantum healing, once you are able to get to the 0 point state, you can simply connect with anybody, whether they are face to face or at a distance or 1,000 miles away or connected on a video call or audio call, doesn't matter. You can even use quantum healing using a photograph or a picture. So distance doesn't matter at all. You don't need to learn anything different. You don't need to follow any different process to use it over a distance. So friends, these are the 10 or 11 differences between Reiki and quantum healing. My experience with quantum healing has been absolutely wonderful. Health issues which weren't getting resolved using Reiki got resolved very quickly using quantum healing. A lot of people who learned quantum healing from my course came back to me saying that they did experience the significant difference between quantum healing and Reiki. So those of you who want to learn it formally, I've got a course on quantum healing, which is 11-hour course, which is a fully recorded course available on my website. You can go to my website, www.instanthealingtherapy.com. So it's currently available at a very discounted price. So please take advantage of that discount and enroll into the course. I will support you actively throughout the learning process. If you have any queries, any doubts, anything to ask, feel free to connect with me. Thank you very much.